Once again, would like to lead off today's video by saying a big thank you to everyone who has showed up over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel and stepped up. It allows me to make content that I could not get away with posting here. It is gloves off. It is in your face. It is the difficult conversations we need to have. It is only $1 US for everybody per month, even less if you sign up for an entire year. We can partner with Vimeo. We can talk like adults. And sometimes we show images that bother some people, but that's the idea. We need to get shaken out of our comfort zone, especially here in North America, and especially men. We just started a series about shit it's the fan survival as it specifically pertains to men. Last week, we finished up a 4-part series about women, simple things they could do to affect better survival, affect their own safety, things that would perhaps make those who would do them harm move on down the road to easier targets. Well, there's something coming, and it's facing mostly just men, and they aren't seeing it. But once it arrives, a lot of guys are going to be looking around and going, how did we miss this? It was right in front of us the entire time, and we just didn't see it. We should have, though. See, when the lights go out and the court system goes away and 911 goes down and the internet's gone, we're going to be in a different world. Some of us older guys will remember the world before the internet. We were mostly pretty young. But some won't. Even guys that are, say, 40 years old likely won't remember a time in their adult life where there wasn't high-speed internet and the effects of high-speed internet. And no, I'm not talking about 5G. There was a specific aspect of high-speed internet that back in the 80s and 90s, people said would be a threat, such a great threat to North America, that it would destroy our culture completely and utterly. It wasn't the lack of 911. It was going to destroy the relationships between men and women specifically. And here we are now in 2022. And this is exactly what it's done. The destruction, though, won't be realized until the net goes back down for an extended period of time. That's when people are going to realize what's happened. But there's going to be a whammy thrown into this, because there's going to be a group of people that are going to filter back out into society that have had no real experience with high-speed internet and all of the different services and images that it provides. Some of the guys that are in prison now, we've talked about this before, have been in since 2000, 1998. If your whole experience with the high-speed internet was done in 1998 and you're just coming out now, you wouldn't have any idea. Imagine the guys that have been in 30 years or 40 years. Now, would like to give a shout out. We're not going to give away too much about that video we did over at Patreon. We're going to save that for those who have stepped up over there. It's $1 US, even less if you sign up for an entire year. The Patriot Nurse, however, has put up, to my mind, what is a departure from most of her videos. Now, she does great content and has been doing great content for a very long time. This particular video was 17 June, Why It's Going to Be Worse Than You Think, Inflation Reset and Global Order. That's a great video, but this one, are women just incubators? Now, after Roe v. Wade, this one, while I don't agree with everything she says in the video, is the hard conversation we need to be having. Because trust me, when the internet goes down for extended periods of time, and when it comes back, it's not high speed, it's only basic, because of power outages, because of whatever else, it is going to change the face of North America. There are hard conversations that need to be had. There's specific language I would love to use here on YouTube to describe what these conversations are about. But trust me, there's been something going on that has messed with men's heads for 20, 30, 40 years, and it has screwed everything up. And nobody's going to see it until that thing goes away. You see, it's easy to prepare by going to the range. Going to the range is fun, even in basic training. It's the funnest part of basic training in the military. Range day, that's easy. Going down to the warehouse store and raiding stuff up and stocking up the basement, that's easy. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge to know exactly what to pick, but it's still fun. Going out in the woods and learning how to tap little sticks into the ground and make shelters, that's fun. That's the easy part of survival. But ladies, I'd like to ask you a question specifically here. Have you ever felt like you were just going through the motions? Nothing was really wrong with the relationship, the life you were in. The bills were paid. You had central heat, central air. You had a vehicle you can go back and forth with. But every day was just monotony. You were safe. But you stopped feeling anything about it a long time ago. Did 2020 help that or make it worse? This was the weekend. How a lot of weekends ended up. And you wondered why. What was wrong? Was it you? Or was it this 800-pound gorilla in the room that's been around for about 3 decades? The old Papa Oscar Romeo November gorilla. This is really what we get into over at the Patreon channel. And how this is, when it goes away, going to reveal itself to be the, well, I'm just going to say the word damnation that it was. But even the most successful men make 2 or 3 critical mistakes in their lives. It's what they do afterward that defines them. It's not about being perfect. It's about talking about the mistakes. It's about airing it out. And this is something we have been able to get away with not doing in this country for a long time because of the distractions. We can just distract away from the problems. Another video Patriot Nurse talks about actually reveals something that women can look at right now and determine the right course of action when it comes to the men in their lives. This particular video that she posted over here, CNBC predicting massive inflation in 3 days and food crisis in the fall. What's being talked about here, generally speaking, is the upcoming holiday, the 4th of July, one of the biggest spending holidays in North America. Now, if you're a guy out there, knowing what's coming, knowing the recession is an eventuality, knowing the collapse is an eventuality, if you are blowing a bunch of money on a feeling, which is all fireworks are, it's virtue signaling from the right. I love America more than you do because my fireworks are larger and more colorful and blow up louder. Huge problem here in Florida, by the way, but another video, another day. That's all this is. If you're blowing money on this right now, ladies, pay attention. That's not the guy you want around in a survival situation. There is no amount of savings you could have right now that would be enough, to be very honest with you, because it'll all fall short. If you're doing this right now, unless you're a millionaire and you've got years of supplies set back, you're an idiot. And ladies, you'll be able to tell the idiots because it'll be the guys that in 6 months are having their vehicles repossessed because they can't make payments that were blown off $49 canister shells. No, I'm not talking about a few sparklers for the kids or a couple of bottle rockets or some of those El Cheapo things you can do out on the sidewalk. I'm talking about the guys who blow hundreds, if not thousands. How does that jive with economic collapse preparation? Literally been talking about this for a year and a half, maybe 2, even longer. And now it's arriving. Now it's on its way. It's pretty much guaranteed. Every major financial house in the country and in the world is saying this is coming. Anybody blowing money on fireworks right now is a moron. This financial collapse, though, isn't going to be like 89. It's not even going to be like 1929. This one will be the end of empire. And that's going to carry with it a whole lot more baggage than just recovering. You see, I guarantee if someone was able to do a poll about how much money was spent on fireworks versus how much money those particular people also spent on cryptocurrency, you'd see a direct correlation. Because it's the same thing. Fireworks are just blowing money on a feeling. Kind of like that 800-pound gorilla in the room. Blowing money on a vain, empty feeling. And oh, by the way, as predicted, crypto exchange CoinFlex is now trying to raise money. Why is it trying to raise money? Because it stopped allowing its investors to pull out money. If they had allowed everyone to get out of CoinFlex that wanted to, they would have collapsed already. They had to halt withdrawals. Why? Because one of their new money, after bad money, after old money investors, decided to default. Now, if it was truly an investment, you wouldn't have to do this. Just like Celsius stopped withdrawals. Just like Binance stopped withdrawals. They're going to keep your money. Some people said, well, when it drops to this, that, or the other, I'm going to get it out. By the time it drops there, you'll not be able to get it out. You see, it was going down to, and I'll stand by this, it was going down to the financial whorehouse for a feeling. And when it collapses and everything falls apart and things get tough, there's going to be a lot of guys who are going to find their shit all packed up one day outside the door with the locks changed. If you would like to understand why the scene from The Getaway, 1994, Jennifer Tilly ended up identifying with her captor, it's perfect psychology once you understand why she had the same experience as this guy. You see, believe it or not, this guy actually showed appreciation for her where her husband did not. And that brings us all the way back to here. There's going to be something coming for a lot of guys that once it arrives, they'll recognize it. But until then, they'll be too blind to see it. It's that 800-pound gorilla in the room. I'll leave it there. Would love to have you join us over at the Patreon channel. We have some top-level, high-level solutions and intelligence content that I think would benefit everyone. Time is growing short. And like I said, 90 days. What is it, July? You can get July's content, everything, by the way, prior to, but all of the new in July, all of the new in August, and all of the new in September, on top of everything we've already done. 90 days. And if it's not for you, you get your $3 back. No questions asked. Would love to have you. God bless. Pray for each other. And thank you. See you guys next time.